I'm sharing my top 3 homemaking resolutions for 2025. These resolutions or goals, whatever you want to call them, they're all about learning and growing and truly embracing the beauty of being at home. The past year has been a blur. We've done so much and experienced so much change together as a family in 2024. We've lived here in Edmonton for 6 months already, but it feels like we just barely got here. We've been so busy with setting up car insurance and getting our yard landscaped and finding new healthcare providers. There's just seems like a never-ending to-do list of things that were just autopilot, normal life back home. This is home now, where we came from. And it just takes a lot of energy out of you. I'm really tired. There's so much to think about. And so many of my normal routines and habits have changed or just disappeared altogether in the chaos of moving. It's a lot of upheaval. So with a new year approaching, I just feel tempted to make a million resolutions and try to whip my life back into shape. I don't think that would be very effective. I think what I really need to do is focus on what really matters and take a few steps in the right direction to where I want to be. In Atomic Habits, James Clear writes that every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you wish to become, which begs the question, what kind of person do I want to be? And for the sake of having realistic goals, I don't want to choose too many things. So I thought, pick three areas that you want to grow in. And these are specifically related to homemaking. And then I just want to take actions that vote for the kind of person that I want to be. And the first thing that I would like to be true of me is that I want to be curious. So my first resolution is to learn something new. I think that homemaking is an amazing creative playground. There's a lot of work to do, but we get to have a lot of fun while we're doing it. We get to throw a creative spin on what things look like in our own homes and reflect God in the way that we create things in our home. And there's so many areas to grow in. So this year, I'm going to dive into something that I have dabbled with before, but never really had great success with, and that is making candles. I'm pretty picky about candles, which I've mentioned on here before, since fragrances bother me and my husband, whether they give us headaches or trigger my husband's asthma. Fragrances are really not welcome in our home. It doesn't just have to be artificial fragrances that we have to avoid. A lot of natural things can bother him too. And people often think, oh, we'll just use essential oils because that's natural. It's not the natural or the synthetic that's the problem. It's the actual smell a lot of the time. And so we just avoid scented things as much as we can. So we only burn unscented soy or beeswax candles in our home because they apparently burn cleaner than other waxes, from what I have read. And of course, they don't give us headaches, but unscented candles are not easy to find. I mean, you can buy cheaper waxes that smoke more and reduce the air quality in your home, but I don't want cheap waxes. I want better quality, unscented. And so I do like supporting local makers if I can find anyone making locally made candles, but they almost never have unscented options available. And beeswax candles are my favorite. They have a very light honey smell to them, but it's very subtle. But they are also pretty expensive by comparison to other candles. These ones that I'm burning right here, this one's almost gone, but I actually found these at a thrift store because one of my viewers mentioned that she often will find beeswax candles at thrift stores. And so I never thought to look there, but I did look and I found a pair for $1.50. So that was a sweet find, but normally beeswax candles are not cheap. So I want to try that. I want to try making my own hand-dipped taper candles. I think that would be a lot of fun. So I'm hoping I can just get the raw materials, make my own for less than the cost of already made candles. And so all I need really is wax and wick and a few tools, like something for dipping candles in that's not used for food, because I don't really want to be using containers that would normally handle food and have wax in them. So yeah, I do need a few supplies that will be dedicated to wax. But that is one area of my life I'm really excited about learning more about. So my plan is to go to the library, get a few books, watch some YouTube videos before I try making my candles myself, because I have, like I mentioned, I've tried this a few times in the past and I always end up with something going wrong and the quality isn't great. And so then I just think I'm not good at this and I don't ever actually do the research to find out best practices. So I'm going to do some research on the front end and hopefully end up with some good results. We'll see. But I just think there's something so satisfying about making something yourself and not relying on someone else to make it for you, and having the ability to customize the candles for our preferences. Like, I've been wanting a wood wick candle for quite some time, but I have never ever seen an unscented one anywhere. So I'm gonna get some wood wicks, I'm gonna make my own. Another word I would like to be true of me is I want to be joyful. So my second resolution is to find joy in the everyday. And I know that this is not really following the rules of making goals and resolutions that are specific and measurable, but I'm just gonna do what I want. You know, being at home, taking care of kids, and being a blessing to your family, it's awesome. But sometimes in the middle of the laundry piles and the endless dishes and trips to the grocery store and requests for haircuts and mom, can you play with me? It can start to feel pretty overwhelming. And this year I'm making it a point to pause, to notice, and just try to appreciate more the little gifts that surround me every single day. That just means slowing down and being intentional. I want to choose gratitude, like when I'm doing laundry, or, you know, thanking God for the people that these clothes belong to and that I get to be their mom and their wife, or finding joy in the sunlight streaming through the windows as I clean the kitchen, or just doing something as simple as lighting a candle at breakfast. These things can turn a routine moment into something really special, and I want to delight in the everyday stuff rather than hurrying past it. I know this isn't really a thing I can prove that I'm doing. It's not like making candles that it's going to end up with having something tangible that I can show for my effort, but I hope that I'll become more grateful and joyful as I recognize the good things around me, the blessings that God has given me, and that I'll reflect more of the joy of the Lord to the world around me. I think an important aspect of being joyful is being thankful, which means being content with what I have and not looking to always be acquiring more, which leads into the third thing I want to be. I would love to know what kinds of things you're working on in the upcoming year, so let me know that in the comments. And thirdly, I want to be resourceful, and my third resolution is to use what we have. This really comes down to being a good steward, to making good use of our resources and not being wasteful. There are a lot of ways I do think I'm already doing pretty well at this. My mom taught me to be frugal and to be resourceful and not wasteful, but I think there's always more to learn, new skills to be gained. And I think I live pretty frugally, but our finances are a little bit up in the air as the new year comes in. And I just want to do our best to help my family live within our means by spending less, wasting less, and making better use of what we already have. Whether that's figuring out ways to mend clothes to make them last a little longer, or saving money on groceries by baking bread. I've been baking all of our bread for the past month, I think. I've found a way with sourdough that my family's actually liking it and preferring it to store-bought bread, so that's been great. And I want to grow our own vegetables again. We do have a pretty small yard, but this summer I want to get some raised garden beds so that we can grow food again, because I love having a garden, and it felt so weird this last spring to not be planting anything since we were moving. And I'm really excited to get my hands in the dirt again. I'm not really a great gardener, but I do what I can, and I like watching things grow. So I am all ears for all of the zero cost ideas you might have for being more resourceful and living more sustainably. Are there things you do in your home to save money that you reuse or repurpose rather than tossing them in the garbage or the recycling? I think this is another area that really is all about being creative, finding new ways to look at things and seeing the potential in what's already in your home. So there you have it, my top 3 homemaking resolutions for 2025 and how I'm voting for who I want to become with my actions. learning something new, finding joy in the everyday, and using what we have. Homemaking is such a beautiful journey, and I'm excited to take these steps toward being more intentional and creative this year. I have some other personal goals that don't relate directly to homemaking that I didn't mention here, but let me know if that's something you'd be interested in hearing more about, and I could do another video about that. Let me know your comments and your homemaking goals in the new year. I'd love to cheer you on, so leave me a comment down below. Thanks. I'll see you next time.